Test 1, 2. How about that, Mike? Can y'all hear that? Better? Better or not? Can you hear that? Travis? Turn it up. All right. Well, I think we're ready to get rolling. So we're going to call our annual meeting to order, and appreciate everybody being here this year and coming to Duncan and having such a great turnout. So I think first off, we are going to introduce our board members. So hopefully all of them made it up this way. Probably some of them are back there paint branding. But let me see here. We're going to go down the list. Mr. Ben Binkley. Are you in the house? He may be back there paint branding. He's paint branding. All right, we're not going to disturb him. So Miss Sharon Holman, our board member and immediate past president, thank you. Mr. J.R. Howard. J.R. might be paint branding as well. Okay. Danny Jones. Danny, right here. Thank you for being here, Danny. Carrie Paul. Oh, front row. That's different from school, Carrie. Very different. Justin Ransom. Justin's over in the black shirt. Charlie Taylor. I know. Oh, Charlie's walking in the back, or he's in the back. Oh, there he comes. Thank you, Charlie. Leanne Winters. Leanne. There we are. Leanne was also back there paint branding all day. And I've been paint branding, so if I say something a little weird, I'm just a little high right now. I didn't. But that paint was a little stout, let me tell you. And then last but not least, our executive director, Miss Caitlin Jackson. Thank you for being here. So appreciate our board members. We meet about once a month, sometimes twice a month. And I think we got a good crew. We get along together. We work together. And I am very happy and honored to be serving as the president this year. So we did hand out the minutes from last year. And I'll be honest, I didn't attend, so if any y'all want to spend a second to look over it, and then we would look for a motion and a second to approve those. All right, so Mike makes a motion to approve the minutes, and if I would say, call out your name just in case I have a brain fart and don't remember your name on who's going to second it. Brent Drennan will second it. All those in favor, let's just say aye. All those opposed? All right, so motion passed. All right, so our financial report, probably a little more in depth. We just handed that out. You should have a copy of that if y'all want to take a second to flip through it. There are, if you just come in, there's some copies over here on the grandstand. Mr. Wendell, did I hear a motion to approve? Yes, sir. So we did some of that last year, didn't we? Give him last year? I thought that was the year before. Okay. Then it is continuing. I mean, they're looking, sir, without money. So there's other people putting in funds. There's other breeds that are involved in this. And So sorry, Daryl is our resident expert on that. So I've always just been the master behind it all. So I haven't kept up with a lot of that. Sorry. So we need a motion to approve it, or all right, Mr. Carey moved. All right, Ms. Ciela seconded. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? All right, well, ayes have it, and the motion passes. So I did forget, we've got two very, very special guests here. Going to be our judges. We're going to work them tomorrow, it sounds like. But we got Mr. Ash Phillips and LaRue. Is it Burrick? Did I say that close enough? Okay. They'll get it right tomorrow. Sorry. Takes a South African like Freddie to say a name like that. But appreciate it. Let's give them a round of applause, flying all the way from South Africa and being our judges tomorrow. So next we're going to roll into our committee reports. I will be honest, our committees, you know, we strive in having good committees. That helps. We can expand outside the board in a knowledge base. Some committees have done a fabulous job, and we've struggled on others. But to get us rolling off the bat, we're going to let Mr. Justin Ransom come up and talk about the certified Dorper lamb.
So it's the handout with the slides on it. If you find that, there was a significant amount of work done in 2021 and a little bit in 2022 relative to developing a certified American Dorper standard. Obviously, when we started this work, it was really about how can we add value to seed stock producers who are selling rams into the country, and ultimately, as we think about the impact that certified Angus beef had on the Angus Association and their ability to sell Angus genetics, such that now 70 to 75% of the cattle harvested are black-hided. We were thinking along the same lines relative to how do we do something like that in the sheep industry. So how do we develop a program that really takes into account all the positive attributes that the Dorper carcass has to offer, but also is a hair breed, which allows us to facilitate the marketing of hair sheep, specifically Dorpers. And so ultimately, over the course of several months, we worked with Nick, whom many of you know, who had a previous experience in the meat industry, is well recognized by American Lamb Board. Nick helped us develop the original certified American Dorper standard. We developed a standard that was ultimately submitted to USDA Agricultural Marketing Service. And last summer, they began testing or applying that standard on carcasses in Colorado. And the challenge that we have is how do we help or work to develop a supply chain that we can get USDA to officially have a final approval of the program and ultimately sort carcasses in coolers, because it's more than just we have to have a live animal characteristics, and then there's also carcass characteristics. And so basically, are they hair sheep or not hair sheep? And if they get the hair sheep stamp, theoretically, do they have a carcass score greater than 12 or more? And then if they're ribbed, do they have a specific loin eye area? And essentially, we've been on this work, and they can sort the carcasses in the cooler, so that's a positive thing. The opportunity is how do we develop the supply chain? And so we've kind of gotten stuck a little bit, right? Because we need the packers to say there is value in marketing Dorper lamb. And so there's work that needs to go on over time relative to what that's going to look like. However, the flip side of it is what we're working on now relative to the local markets. So Certified American Dorper Lamb Standard is a longer range program that's not going to have short-term wins, but it's really about how do we characterize the value that Dorper lambs and Dorper carcasses provide on the rail. But an immediate solution or immediate option that we're now working on is the alternative, which is heritage Dorper lamb. So the concept of that is working with producers trying to market lamb locally. And you know, there's several of you in here who are already marketing lamb locally, whether they're purebred or full blood or F1s, and you're doing a good job of it. And so the concept of the Heritage Dorper Lamb program is really more along the lines of how do we support Dorper breeders, Dorper members, in creating marketing materials that you can use to market the lambs and the carcasses to your local butchers or farmers markets, basically giving you access to easy to understand and easy to disseminate Dorper marketing materials for Dorper lamb. So that's kind of the second work stream that we're going to be beginning here this year, and more to share as this develops. But there's the big takeaway here, there's two main work streams. One is a national program, the other is a local program. We're trying to create value for you as members and breeders.
Thank you, Justin. So any quick questions? I know we got a lot of reports, and so how about anything? We do want to, if you are selling Dorper lamb and we don't know about it, email me. This is something big I want to work on. I used to work at the Texas Department of Agriculture, worked a lot with value-added meat, and so I want to see this expanded. I've been talking with Chris Summers. She's there at Center Point, Texas. She sells at the Sand Home Farmers Markets. We've been visiting because what I think is going to benefit her, then she just shoots back. And so we want to, if you're doing certified Dorper lamb or not even that, if you're selling farm lamb, like farm to table, please send me an email, let me know about it so we can get your input on some ideas, because this is one of the areas that we really want to start to push more from the Dorper Society. So, okay, our next one is always fun, governance, and Miss Sharon Holman is going to be our speaker.
We handed out some proposed bylaws. Instead, we had two options on bylaws. We could amend the ancient bylaws, or we could create a more modern format, easier to read, more logical to us bylaws. We chose to go that route. There isn't much in these bylaws that actually changes from the way we've been operating. We weren't operating in compliance with our old bylaws. We were operating with what, as boards evolved, as good practices, but not necessarily exactly to the bylaws. Not a good idea. And so we said, okay, we got to fix that. And this is our first, about at the 10th draft. We've been working on it, cleaning it up. It's going to take, I know it's good to go to sleep at night reading, but if you just think about things and take them one section at a time, they are easy to read. And please read them, and please get back to us if you see something that you don't think is the way y'all want to go forward. We're here to work for y'all, and we wanted, anyway, I'm mumbling now. We're not voting on it now. Yeah, thank you. That's the big takeaway from me, is this isn't going to be put out for vote until May. So this is your comment period, as the government would say, to tell us what you don't like so that we can take that into consideration before we come up with what you're actually going to vote on.
Thank you, Sharon. Bylaws definitely put me to sleep. I will be the first to admit. So, not my cup of tea. So we got the genetic improvement group, and so I'm gonna discuss a little bit on that. I think most of y'all got an email. Last week we had talked with Reed Redden and Jake Thorne there at Texas A&M. They had actually come to us, and unfortunately it was very rushed. We understood that. We tried to get some stuff out on this ram sire test, and so it's really a progeny test where those individuals, we'd kick out some rams with their flock that is already highly, it's all DNA'd. They are highly, they've already got fecal egg counts on all of them. They're all in NSIP. And so it's a good kind of research flock. There's about 110 in that herd right now. Don't quote me, but pretty close. They run them in Menard, Texas. And so the idea was to bring several rams from across Dorper breeders that maybe had a lot of genetics out there. They are going to be turned out with these ewes, and so there's no guarantee. I mean, we all have stud bucks, but anyways, bring some rams in, breed them to those sheep, then all those offspring would be pretty much go on trials, where that's fecal egg count, weight per day of age, carcass. They would all be, not all of them, but a percentage of the wethers, or all the wethers would be harvested there at the end. So we get a lot of good data on these rams. And then not only that, if we continue to go forward with this project, we're going to get information on those rams' daughters, because they're going to keep some of those rams' daughters in their herd. And so we're going to get information like number of lambs born, number of lambs raised. And to me, as we go through an SIP, you know, one of the biggies that I have not started on, but I want to for our ranch, is fecal egg counts. How many of us don't have a problem with stomach worms? And the other deal is, how many of us wouldn't like to raise a few more lambs, higher percentage of lambs? So to me, those are two of my biggies. Both these are captured in this study to some extent. And so we just thought it was a great opportunity to work on, and not that there is another ram test out there. There's one at Virginia Tech that Lee Wrighton put on. I think that period is coming up pretty fast, or nomination period, where it's actually a ram test or a lamb test. They do fecal egg counts and weight per day of age on those lambs on a kind of a pasture system. They do feed them a percentage of their body weight, but they do want them to graze and see how they grow, mainly on grass. I've put rams in that. Hopefully I can get some more up there this year. They have a sale at the end if you're interested in just marketing those lambs. And I want to say that nomination fee is like $200. So sounds like a lot, but they grow the ram out, they feed it out, they collect all that data for you. And then at the end of the year, you can either take your ram back home, put it in the sale, or if he's a total failure, like one of mine was, they have a butcher that comes by there and pays you more than probably your nomination fee, so you're out maybe a sheep. But there may be some other ideas. We're interested in those opportunities. We think that, you know, we have plenty of opportunities in the show ring. Our sales are going good, but I do think our genetics, we can work on those. And our certified lamb, I think all that kind of rolls into one. So we do, as a board, I really want to work on that. The other deal that was really interesting on the that I think could go back to the certified lamb from this ram test or this progeny test was that they've developed a new flavor profile system. And Reed explained it to me. We didn't talk a lot about it at the board meeting, but they actually burn lamb meat, and from the smoke, fumes, they can get a flavor profile. They're doing it in beef right now, and they can actually tell how good that piece of lamb might taste. And so I think that might be an interesting option, as we all think Dorper lamb is, we know Dorper lamb is far superior in flavor to a lot of other lamb breeds that are out there. So this might be an opportunity for us to showcase that. So I'm going to end there, short and sweet. All right. And maybe he is up here, Ben Binkley. If not, we're going to have somebody run back there. We're going to skip him. In our marketing and communications, Miss Jennifer Ransom, you are up. All right. This is the half that makes Justin look really good.
Well, I brought a couple notes because I could not remember it all. The board decided we were going to have some last year, so around Labor Day, the marketing committee magically formed. And I know there's a couple of people who have been on it who, for other reasons, had to drop off this year. Couldn't situation. So if anybody wants to join on the marketing committee, if you have a background in logos and signage and interesting things, or if you know anything about that, come see me or talk to Caitlin. Let's sign you up and put you on this because your voice matters, your experience matters. I am just a volunteer. I am not on the board, but Justin wrote me into this. So y'all can see what's written down in the board packet, but just to quickly give you a little update here. The board, we all got together as a marketing committee, and everybody had amazing, really good, great ideas, but we weren't sure which ones to prioritize and how to move forward because we have a lot of things that we could do and a lot of open possibilities, but we weren't sure where to spend the energy and try to keep things short on a budget. So one of the things we thought was very important with anything is to have a strategic marketing plan. Some of that is to figure out what we have. We have assets. We have the Dorper Journal. We have the Dorper Report. We have the Facebook page. Yes, they can always be better, but we have a really great place to start with. How can we leverage that? What else can we do with it? How can we make it better? Not just what it looks like, but can we have an editorial calendar so we have themes for each quarter? And where do we plug in the education aspect to that? So there's a lot of great things that are wheeling around. Y'all have not seen the results from it yet, but we're getting there. One other thing, just to tip of the iceberg, we're talking about the logo. I think it's been around for quite a while, but how do we make things a little more fresh, but also something that can be used in multiple other places, not just on banners with the 2 sheep on them. So we're starting to tickle into that. If you guys have ideas, opinions, please express them because this marketing committee will move forward with things and then take it to the board, and then the board will take it to you guys. And so instead of making it a long, drawn-out process, we'd rather get your opinions up front. So come see us and talk to us. Other things, we're looking into sponsorship, and I know this may actually end up being a separate committee, but corporate sponsorships, strategic alliances, strategic partnerships, and then how can we integrate some of those into what we're already doing? We have advertisements in our Dorper Journal. We can put stuff on the Facebook pages. How can we help them help us bring money into the society that way and give them some visibility in exchange for it? So it's all tickling around. Next steps, because this is kind of where we got stuck as the committee, being transparent with you. We weren't exactly sure where to prioritize things. We looked to the board for some answers, but the board's like, well, we got to know what the members say. We represent the members. We can't just tell you the orders. So there will be a survey coming soon. It's going to have a lot of questions on it, and it's going to ask you guys a lot of information. If you don't feel comfortable, just skip that question. Keep answering the rest of the questions on the survey. It may ask you really tough stuff like, you know, is this your primary business, or do you have a full-time job on the sheep, or just a second business for you? And we're not trying to find out personal information. It's anonymous, but we need to know this so that we can start gathering information and eventually sharing it with sponsors in a generic way to say, hey, we represent X number of people with X number of farms, with X number of sheep, with X number of revenue. Don't you want to be a partner with us? This is a big deal. So we kind of all guesstimate that, but we don't have data on it. So that's one of the things the marketing committee is going to work with other committees to put together. So heads up, you're hearing it here. You're going to start seeing it in the next couple of months, okay? Yes, good. If you have questions, come see me, come see Caitlin. And if you want to be involved with this, please, we would happily welcome you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You up? All right. So Ben, he loved the paint too much, so he is going to send Justin up here.
I'm his delegate. So quick update. It's on page, I don't know, 2 or 3, relative to the education committee. Some of the big things. So they met in November last year. Some of the big things that they slated for 2023 was a Dorper's course in judge certification that's happening here in a couple of weeks in California. Additionally, the work that you saw today from Ash and LaRue relative to the training, the 2 sessions they have today, that was also part of their 2023 plan. They're planning to have a FAMACHA score training in Cookeville this summer as part of a continuous development, continuous education program. And then they're working on a series of webinars, those webinars that they can share. I'm sure you've seen some from different academia universities, as well as some of the regional associations are having webinars, but they're trying to understand what's out there Can they elevate or share more of the great work that's already going on? But where are there information or education gaps that they can use to support the continuous education and development of all the members? That is a report.
Thank you. Pretty short bin right there. All right, so we're going to skip down to, we just had Jennifer, so registry improvement, Mr. Lance Weaver. Thank you for being here, Lance.
Well, I appreciate you allowing me to help with this project. A lot of you guys don't know who I am. I'm Lance Weaver. I grew up in West Texas. I currently live in Arkansas. I am not an Arkansan. I am a Texan. My wife is an Arkansan. We moved out there to raise our kids. I got to asking some questions about EPVs, registry data, and all of those type of things with Caitlin, and all of a sudden I get roped into this registry project. Little bit of my background is I'm an ag banker. I've been an ag banker for 11 years. I got my master's in ag economics from Oklahoma State. That background allowed me to take some classes in primary data analysis. Primary data is survey-based information, collecting it from point source. So knowing that background, she asked me to help put together a survey. We put out a survey not too long ago that consisted of several questions that revolved around who our membership is, what they think of our registry, and where they want to go, what people would be willing to pay for. I think some of that information may be a surprise to a few people. It wasn't necessarily a surprise to some of the others. What we found out, first of all, was an extremely high response rate. We have about 900 members across the country. We had about 200 responses. That's very high. We have a very large participation from millennials and Gen X's, which should give everybody a lot of comfort in here that we have a buy-in from younger generations, gives us some type of future for our organization. The other thing that was really revealed was that the organization doesn't currently use a lot of EPV data. We've been talking about how to market Dorper. We all know how superior our breeds are to the rest of the ovine industry, but EPVs give us an opportunity to express that in data form. There's a way that we're going to have to handle that, and that comes through the registry. It was shown through the survey results that people want to see that in our registry. They want to have access to that information, and they want to see it be able to easily transfer from one person to the next. The other thing that we saw is ease of transactions. I think all of us get frustrated at times about how long it takes us to get papers. That's nothing against Rhonda or our staff. It's just kind of the system that we have. That's something that needs to be improved and looked at. The registry is also going to give us an opportunity to potentially explore options to do that down the road. Some of those options would be able to print papers off at the house. There's mixed emotions about how that could happen. There are checks and balances involved in those registry options. Ultimately, what this comes down to is ABRI, which currently hosts our registry system. We have a contract that expires in 3 years. We either have to update into their new system, which is more expensive, or we have to find a new registry system. So the board has found two options that they're really exploring, which is obviously to continue with ABRI or to look at a platform that's hosted by Digital Beat. It'll actually be called Digital Dorper. Both of those systems allow for printing off certificates at your house. They do track EPVs and genetic information. You have a member profile that keeps your herd information right in front of you, so you know which animals you have, which animals came out, which animals are coming in. And the interesting thing is, if you have people that want to pay for credit cards across the country, you have somebody, you live in Texas, and you have somebody from New York that wants to buy animals from you, but you don't really know this person. You can actually take their credit card information, run that transaction, have that animal paid for, get a deposit up front. So I think all that's beneficial. ABR, there's a few slight differences. You'll notice that ABRI was not developed in the United States. It was developed in Australia, so there is some language differences. We heard some of the concerns and or frustrations with how things are spelled. There's going to be some management options. You'll be able to manage your flock through ABRI, some basic stuff with inventory management. Also on digital beef, there's some advanced invoicing. So there'll be some controls like you would get maybe in QuickBooks that are available. These things are options. It doesn't mean that everybody involved in the Dorper Association has to use every one of these, but this gives us more options to grow our business down the road. I think that the board's put a lot of effort into this, and ultimately, if you kind of notice a trend through these committees, that we're all kind of moving towards trying to find something that works together between the committees. EPVs, marketing our sheep better and selling more ultimately is the goal. That's pretty much what I've got. There's a summary page there that you can read through some more information.
Well, I appreciate it, Lance. And so, guys, I just want to reiterate, we've got 3 years or not even 3 years to make a switch. And it's not up to the board. We have to make a switch. They have pretty much told us they're going to pull the plug on the system that we're currently on. So I have some friends. Digital Dorper is also going to be similar to Digital Suffolk. The Brahmin industry uses it. And so, you know, there are friends out there. If you have friends in other breeds or look up what other platforms, please call them. We want to know. I just talked to a Brahmin breeder. He was not the happiest with digital beef. I've heard other people are really happy with it. So we do want to know try to figure out what we're going to jump into when we have to make that jump. So there's definitely going to be different options. And we want to have some webinars on this and talk about it, not only with the board, but with the membership. So we do want to reiterate that we're going to have to make a change here within 3 years. So. All right. Well, something I'm gonna bump one up. We're gonna have Miss Leanne Winters. Is Leanne here? There she is. We're gonna have her talk about the youth committee. So, our youth committee has come alive. Got some great members, and we want to thank Leanne on our board for heading that up.
Thanks. So with the youth committee, we're pretty active. We meet about monthly, and I'd like to recognize the people that's on that board. They've done a lot of work throughout the year, and they have a lot of responsibilities. So on our committee is Amanda Hauser, and she's also assisting with the Southern States Dorper Youth Show. I don't know if she's here, but if you guys are here, you can wave. Ron Waldron. Over there. Thank you, Ron. Edie McDaniel. Susan Robinson. Lori Hortz, which she's in the back there. These banners that they have for the youth show, they're all displayed out there. And she's got some really nice awards. So as a coordinator for these shows, they're responsible for getting ribbons and other awards that the are interested in and hopefully would like to receive. So I sure appreciate everything that they've done. And then also some of the highlights is we're looking for ideas. So in our committee, we're trying to generate ideas outside of just youth showmanship or youth showing. So if you guys have anything that you think would be good program for us to do for our youth, please get a hold of me or any of the members I just announced or Caitlin. And some of those ideas that we're working on right now is getting some regional directors for the youth, recognizing some junior youth shepherds and receiving some achievement awards, offering scholarships, and just looking for some more ideas. So if you guys have anything, please reach out and let us know. Also, there was some changes this year to the Youth for Charity program. And with those changes in our handout, I won't cover those again, but Caitlin had a podcast with Something to Graze on, covers some of those changes. They're on our website and also in this packet. So hoping to get some more opportunities for kids across the U.S.
All right. Well, thank you, Leanne. And let's give that youth committee a big round of applause. They've had some home runs this year, I think. And I think they've worked harder than most of us on the board on getting the youth program up and running. So we really, really appreciate that. So now just something in its infancy we're going to see. We think hopefully something that's fun. But we're going to have Philip Glass come up. Me and Caitlin was talking one day. The World Show's coming up next May in South Africa. And I talked about taking a trip to South Africa, and we visited it, maybe just trying to see if we could put together a tour of going to the World Show with some of the American breeders, and maybe go and visit some farms. And also, if we're there, we're going to see some tourist attractions. But Philip Glass is, besides our 2 resident South Africans over there, is probably as well traveled in South Africa as anybody. So we asked Philip to maybe just get a very tentative itinerary and what he thought we might go see. And then we're going to, if you're interested, we will want you to, we're going to have a sign-up sheet, and just so we can maybe send out and see what else you would like to see and get some costs together and those kinds of things. But I'm going to turn it over to Philip and let him discuss it.
Thanks, Brad, and appreciate that. Appreciate the chance to help out with this. But I got to say, you guys are killing me. This is the one thing I've never been to. I've been to most of the other Dorper events around the world. And next year, Jasper's going to be a senior, and that will be state track on those dates. So I will be glad to be a liaison and help organize a lot of this and answer some questions, but I don't think I'm going to get to go. The dates for the Dorper Championships are April 29th through May 3rd. So getting to Africa takes 2 or 3 days. So that's going to put the departure on April 26th or 27th. 2 days to get home. So you're looking at a 9 or 10 day itinerary if you did nothing else but the shows. Just to back up a little bit, I have been to Africa 16 times and been to 5 different countries and traveled on many different airlines. And so my part of this would be to look at the group who's going as far as the travel is concerned. Where's everybody from? What kind of airlines can they get to? What's our best bang for our buck? What's our best time frame on that? One of the most common ways to go there is on Delta Airlines out of Atlanta. There's not any bargains in the flights these days, but I'm still hoping for next year. You know, I predicted this year was going to be when the prices came down on flights and things, but I was sadly wrong about that. Maybe one more year. There's more flights going to Africa right now from the U.S., nonstop flights than ever before, by far more. But Brad touched on the different things you can do in Africa. Well, Africa's a big place. We're going to South Africa. I would say probably your itinerary would stay in South Africa, but it could certainly include Namibia or wherever else you wanted to go. There's an endless number of things to do. I think the first step of this planning process will be to decide how many days would you like your itinerary to be, and that will dictate what you can do in addition to the show. The show is going to be in Bloemfontein. However we go, we will fly to Johannesburg, South Africa, that big international airport there, and then take Airlink, one of the regional carriers, over to Bloemfontein on a short flight. Something similar to going to Dallas from San Angelo or some other little regional airport. Very good airline, very, very reliable, the one we use very often, many different destinations. And then from there, we can either look to find something around Bloemfontein or fly wherever. There's obviously big things you can do, such as going to Kruger National Park, which would involve flying back to Johannesburg and possibly another flight or drive, depending on where you wanted to go. And then, yes, we can set up some hunting opportunities. However, it's a pretty short time frame, honestly, on setting up a real safari. But you're welcome to reach out to me. We will see what dates are available that would work on the tail end of this. Or if you chose to go early and do a safari beforehand and then meet up with the group. There's endless ways to do that. And what I want to do is I want to do what I do with my hunting groups that I take annually. I'm taking 3 groups this year to 3 African countries on safari. I just want you to be comfortable with the fact that there's nothing scary in Africa. There's nothing terrible about the travel except for that 16-hour flight. I can help you with everything else, but I tell the guys, I said, I can't help you with that 16-hour flight. There's nothing I can do about that. But don't be worried about what you need to do or what you need to take to Africa. It's pretty mundane. It's pretty simple on what you're going to need to take or prepare yourself to go and do that. If you want to go hunting, obviously, then we've got a list of things that we're going to work through. But Brad, do I have time to just ask for questions? So be glad to field some questions and go from there. For the flights, pricing on the flights. We have the flights we've done recently were about, on an economy ticket, we're about $1,800 on Delta, plus about $250 on Airlink. Those would be round trip economy tickets. So probably we're not going to be below $2,000 on that deal. I always tell people if we're on Delta, we're going to have a hotel night. There's two hotels right at the airport that are very convenient, very safe, no issues at all. One of them's actually attached to the airport. The other one's literally across the street. Depends on how much you want to spend on that one night. So I always say $3,000 in travel expenses is a safe number to work with. Again, it's fluid. You know how it is with the airlines. The prices are crazy right now. They shouldn't be that high, but I think we can do that. I think we can be all in with our international and our domestic and our hotel night. I think we can be around $3,000. You're going to need, just to go to the show, just to go to Bloemfontein and arrive on the day before the show, stay for the full 5 days of the show, and then depart the next day. Yes, you're going to be looking at 10 days. That's pretty much a 10-day itinerary. And so here's the problem. You're going all the way to Africa, and you're going to spend as many days traveling as you are at the show. But don't be afraid of that. We can do that. Believe me, I've done that before. Well, almost. But yeah, that is the thing. When I do my hunts, you know, there's people that do 5 and 7 day hunts, and I never recommend that. I recommend 10 days. Because even 7-day itinerary on the ground in Africa goes by pretty quick. The 5-day deal, you're going to barely feel like you got there. But this is a cool deal. This is only every 2 years, the Dorper Championship. So you don't want to miss the chance to go. Yes, you're going to have to sit your rear end on an airplane for a very long time, twice, to do it, but you can go. Believe me, if I had the window of opportunity, I would go do that, just for the 5 days and come back, if I had to. But yeah, I recommend adding something. Go do something. Even if it's just a photo safari. We'll just go do a few days somewhere and go do something. We can go, obviously the sky's the limit. There may be some Dorper breeders that you want to go visit. There might be an opportunity go. Now, of course, they're going to be busy with the show, but that doesn't mean there's not a chance to possibly coordinate something afterwards. May is going to be very comfortable, very mild temperatures. Yep. Basically fall, but it could be fairly warm, but I don't know. Bloemfontein in May. Yeah, it's not going to be much of anything. What else, folks? Anyway, like I said, you have a question? Anyway, I will be glad to be the liaison and be glad to help put the trip together. We can start an email group, and just right now is the time to be thinking about it. You know, we buy our plane tickets for these safaris typically 10 or 11 months out. That's not always the best pricing. Sometimes the best pricing can be more in that 6 to 8 month window. But if you're going straight economy ticket, if you're trying to get the cheapest ticket, I would recommend booking the tickets earlier rather than later so you can choose the seat you're sitting in and get an aisle seat or get something close to the front of the plane. There's nothing I hate worse than sitting in the very, very back of the plane. I just don't even do it anymore. If I'm going to go and I know I'm going, I don't care which seat I've sat in. I've sat in the fancy ones and I've sat in the back. But if I'm sitting in the back, I want to be towards the front of the back. And so to do that, you can't wait until 4 or 5 months out. That Delta flight does fill up. But we'll look at all the options. And that's why I would like to see who's really wanting to go. And, of course, you don't have to answer that today. But in the near future, be thinking about it.
Well, thank you, Philip, and we'll send something out if you're definitely interested or just moderately interested. We do want to explore those options and maybe put together some type of working budget so we all know what we're going to jump into before we do that. And unfortunately, I thought about this, but once I got to looking at the calendar, I'm in the same boat as Philip. My daughter's a senior, and I don't think I'm going to get away right before her graduation to go to South Africa for 2 weeks, unfortunately. So, I'd also promised my kids that we would maybe go over there on a safari. So I don't think I want to sit for 16 hours straight twice. So we're going to move on to our next part of the presentation. And when we get to highlight some of our special members, Today we're going to recognize both a youth member and an adult member that we think has contributed extremely well to the society. And to start off with our adult member, I'm going to ask Mr. J.R. Howard to come up here. He's going to present that.
Thanks, Brad. Like he said, we're going to be presenting the Adult Member of the Year. This is an award that goes to somebody that's kind of gone above and beyond the past year, and most of these folks that get it have been doing it for years without much recognition. So we got some really good folks nominated. It's pretty tough trying to pick one person nationwide that does that. The individual we did pick is somebody that year after year really helped. Doing a lot of work really behind the scenes that some people may not even see, but if you're really paying attention, I think you'll realize how much of an asset he is to the Dorper crowd. So this year we'd like to present the Adult Member of the Year to Mike McInerney.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Mike. And we'll get a formal picture tomorrow. If you're still here, we'll put up the good backdrop and try to get another one, maybe with all the award winners. Also, we always recognize a youth member of the year, and we are very pleased this year. We had a very tight race. We had 2 or 3 members that were nominated that was neck and neck, and we, as a board, we discussed them and come up with a vote. And so this member is it helps out at some of the sales, helps some of the comments that were given. She was nominated twice. She helped her other kids show their animals and inform them about showing their animals. Helped here at the sale with the youth show in Duncan, and I want to say also in Cookeville. And so without further ado, Miss Hensley Howards, congratulations. Well, congratulations to both our award winners. We know there's more that are deserving, and keep those nominations coming in. Add some comments when you nominate those, and some of the individuals we may not know, so we're going to reach out to whoever nominated them to get some more, and so we really appreciate all of that. And as we know, even with this sale, guys, we can't do it without the consigners and the helpers. We run this, think on a shoestring budget, and without all of the help from the youth and all of y'all, we can't do that. So we're going to move on to fraternity awards, and I got Miss Lori Ciella is going to help me hand out the fraternity awards. So we've got South Region. Okay, so we're going to start off. This is for our fraternity ULAM program. We're going to recognize our winners. This is the South Region, and we're going to start with 5th place. Showing Spikes Farm 631 is Miss Claire Martin. Representative here from Miss Claire, and she also has 4th place with Spikes Farm MGS 636. So I hadn't seen Claire and them here. We'll get those to her. All right, our 3rd place winner goes to Taylor Dunn with S-Bar T Livestock 1680 SP. Is Taylor here? Oh, there she is. All right. Congratulations. And our second place winner goes to Miss Paisley Lloyd with Oak Hill Ranch F120. Congratulations, Paisley. And Paisley, stay down here. You also were our South champion with RR Dorpers 2105. And do we, no, that's for the, okay. So I guess we maybe gave it away right there with the banner, but she was also our overall champion. So congratulations to Miss Paisley Lord on winning the South champion and the overall champion. Congratulations. So our East winner, Sydney Phipps with HC6 3403. She's our East champion. Congratulations. All right. Sorry about that. Split pages and wanted to make sure I was reading the right thing. So in 10th place, Cheyenne Rexing showing S-Bar T Livestock 1643 SP. Cheyenne here. All right. Our 9th place individual is Taylor Jane Binkley showing East Star Livestock 2225. He's in the back. Paint Brandon. All right. Working hard. Congratulations, Taylor. Our 8th place, Jess Vaught with S-Bar T Livestock 1600 SP. 7th place, Macy Lambert with Willow Creek Ranch M498. Okay. In 6th place, Miss Allie Walker with Rock Ranch 0311. Okay. In 5th place, Miss Abigail Hauser with Eggs 700. Abigail here. Okay. Let me see. 4th place, Lexi Williams with Narrowgate Farms 645. No, yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Amen. No, looks like 3rd place is Macy Lambert with East Star Livestock 2215. Our 2nd place, Mr. Caleb Welt with S-Bar T 1686 SP. Caleb here. Oh, there he is. Well, we're just going to read it. Mr. Caleb also had our Midwest champion with S-Bar T 1731 SP. Congratulations, sir. All right. And I want to say we also have a banner up here for congratulations to RR Dorpers for breeding our overall national champion Futurity U. So, Justin, y'all want to come over? I think we've got a banner here for you. Is the breeder right here? Or Bob? Let's get the main one. Congratulations. So last on our juniors are bred and owned Futurity. We have our national top 10, and want to thank all those kids that participate in this. It's a new program, so it's used that are bred by the juniors and then shown. And so we're going to flip back here and start with 10th place. So in 10th place, Miss Paisley Lord with Arrow Sheep Company, 156. In ninth place is Taylor Jane Binkley with Binks Family Farm, 756. Right there she is. And she also had, looks like eighth place as well with Binks Family Farm, 741. So congratulations. Seventh place goes to Miss Allie Walker from Rock and exhibiting Rock Solid Ranch, 324. Okay. Fifth place, or no, sixth place, right? Yep, there we go. Jackson Hauser from Rock Solid Ranch, 326. He had sixth place. He also had fifth place with Rock Solid Ranch, 317. So congratulations to him on 2 top 10 finishers. Next is in fourth place is Miss Abigail Hauser with Rock Solid Ranch, 332. Awesome. Third place, Miss Hannah Hewitt with Arrow H Dorpers, AH03. Congratulations. So second place, Mr. Alfred McDaniels with M-Bar W Ranch, 2276. Mom made you get dressed up, Alfie. And you're just going to stay right there, Mr. Alfred, because you won it. You had the overall champion with M-Bar W Ranch, 2200. Congratulations. So last, we went to honor some of our retiring board members. Any of y'all that's done this job know it's a lot of work, a lot of hours, and can be very rewarding and be very challenging at times. And so taking over the role as president, I want to take the time to recognize Ms. Sharon Holman as our past president. She served this job for 2 years. I don't know how she did that. We have I come on that board about the time she was president first, and we've gone through lots of challenges and ups and downs with directors not working out and hiring a new director. And so I know what it's a challenge like to have Caitlin at my side running things. I can't imagine what it's like to not have somebody of that caliber. So thank you, Sharon, very much for being here today and serving as our past president. So we have 2 board members that have gone off last year. They want to thank both Freddies. One of them is here with us today, and also one of them did not make the trip. But want to thank Freddie Richardson for serving on the board. And unfortunately, I come on the same time as COVID, and so as the board, we entered that. We never really got to meet face to face. With everything shut down, and so didn't get to spend a lot of time with Freddie Richardson, but really, really appreciate his service to the board. Our next one is Mr. Freddie Russo. Come on up, Freddie. So Freddie was also a past president of this association and filled in greatly when we had a loss or when we had some health problems there in our executive director, and took the ball and run with it as Freddie does, and we appreciate everything that you've done serving on the board, and small token. All right. So closing, man, we've got a huge number of sheep back there. We've got them hopefully checked in. They're getting paint branded, and we're all excited about tomorrow and the show. And Ash is all going to make us first place, right, Ash? No. So great. Appreciate everybody that comes here who has kicked in the past to make this show a success. Not only this one, we have great shows and sales around. It takes all of us, members, consigners, to step up and pull off these sales. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that nobody sees that gets done, and so we couldn't do it without you. I really, truly want to thank my board again. We've had a great time. We've had some heated discussions. We've, by no doubts, and we're going to probably have more of them, no doubts. But we've stayed professional, and that's a big goal of mine. Everybody here's a good friend. I want to go home as good friends, even if we can't agree on certain things. So on behalf of that, look for a motion to adjourn or open it up. Go ahead. All right, Lori, got a motion to adjourn. Justin second, or Mr. Ferris second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Awesome, thank you. I had to use that for Miss Caitlin. Okay, so just a quick update. Showmanship's going to start at 6:45. So we're going to show oldest to youngest. Oh.